everyone, and welcome to my channel again. My name is Mandy, and here on my channel I do books and drawing and art and all the fun things that I like, because I like books and I like art. So yeah, that's me. And today I am going to be talking to you about my reading log that I have been keeping for the last 2 weeks since I started it, what I read this week, and what I plan on reading next week. Anyway, so to start, I want to pull out my reading log. So my reading log, it's got some little gunk on it, sorry. My reading log is this little guy. It's got a little reading log sticker. I don't know where I got this sticker, but I glued it on, and it's got some pretty fancy things that just say, I don't know, but I wrote reading log, established March of 2023. These are stickers that I get every month from the Patreon I'm subscribed to from Poopy Cat. She is an artist up in Canada. I'm down here in the United States, and she's an artist up in Canada that I adore her. I adore her as a person. I adore her as a mentor. I adore her as a content creator. She has helped my art grow so much, and I just adore her. So I thought, okay, when I got these stickers, they're happy. They make me happy. They make me think of spring. So I put them on here. This journal, I got the idea to make it from my friend Becky. And it is one of those, I cannot say this word for the life of me. So if you know how to pronounce it, help me out. But it's like Leuk term. So it's Leuchtturm, 1917. So it's kind of like moleskin, but I like that it has an index already built in. And it has page numbers, which the other one does not. The moleskins don't. So the first page is my key of like the pages. So I have all the different genres. I got all these, like I literally took all my friends' spreads and made them, because when it comes to bullet journals, I'm really unoriginal. I'm trying to get better, but I'm not very great. And I loved how she had hers. These are the mild liners, and I really like how they look. And I read horror mostly. Horror has always been my favorite genre. And then from there, I kind of went with horror, thriller, fantasy. I'm reading more fantasy this year because I'm really trying to get into it. It wasn't something I ever liked before because I thought everything was like the Lord of the Rings. And please don't hurt me, I don't like Lord of the Rings. I read some middle grade. I'm trying speculative. Cozy I read quite a bit of, but I don't know why I picked it down there. I think it's because I wanted it read because it was pretty. Romance I don't read much of, so, which is funny because I love this green and I want to see more of it, so maybe it will motivate me. Anyway, that's that. I'm trying to learn lettering, and I think my lettering's getting much better. I really like how genre came out. So yeah. So the next page is Cawpile, which was founded here on YouTube. I cannot remember the name of the person, but if you Google Cawpile, usually it comes up with her name, and she came up with this rating system, which I really like. And then I wrote down all the different things of like each one, and I, kind of jimmy it a little bit for myself, and make it work for me, because I have a background in English. I just like having a rubric. It makes my little rubric heart happy. So that is what I did. And then I started it with my YouTube channel. So I've got Sea of Tranquility, Loot, and the Golden Spoon from last video. And then I did start and finish. So Killing Me by Michelle Gagnon is the book that I read. This is from NetGalley. I read the synopsis on NetGalley. I'd never heard, and I was like, excuse me, I need to read this, and I gave it a solid 4. So, okay, here is the setup. A girl wakes up in the back of a van. when she discovers she's been the next victim of the serial killer that is basically like taking over her town and killing girls. And she doesn't want to be the next victim, so she starts thinking about how she can get out, and she comes to her fate that she's gonna die, and then she's rescued by a woman in a ski mask. First chapter. Okay, so I didn't give too much away. That's just the first chapter. From there, like it literally, the tagline right here, she escaped a serial killer. Then things got weird. And things real get weird. And funny. This book is very dark comedy, neo-noir. It's mystery. It's kind of cozy. It reminds me a lot of the Finley Donovan series. Only this one, I liked the characters more, which is weird. I liked the main character. I'll say I liked the main characters more. I felt that they really had this spark. They played well together. Very similar to Finley and Vero, if you've read the books. But, like, Finley is kind of almost like an unlikable character, whereas I think Amber in this one, the main character who gets rescued, Amber is very flawed and she knows it, and she's very self-aware, and I love that about her. And I love all the other cast of characters. My only gripe, and I'm not going to give anything away, my only gripe is later on in the book, a character is killed. And I disagreed with how that happened, and I disagreed with a love interest in the book. I really didn't like a character in the book. She was just so flat, and I just didn't enjoy her. But still, I'm excited. The end of the book, the acknowledgments say that see you in the sequel. So I'm hoping that there's a sequel, because that would be really awesome. I really enjoyed this book. So that was my first book. I finished this one as well, Out There by Kate Folk. When I say this book is probably one of the best short story collections I've ever read, I'm not lying. It is something. I don't want to give too much away. It's speculative. It is sci-fi, maybe a little bit of horror. And I think it is horror. It is so many different words, and I can't even explain. 5 stars, hands down. The stories are all just beautifully written. This woman knows how to write in brevity. Like, and the longest story I think was maybe 30 pages, but it needed to be 30 pages. So what it says in the, I'm not going to read the whole dust jacket, because I think that you want to go into this not really knowing what you're going to expect. But it says, Out There depicts an uncanny landscape that holds a mirror to our subconscious fears and desires. Perfect. That explains the book. This book is dark and funny and very for the now. I loved the short stories. I think my favorites were Out There, Big Sur, and The Bone Ward. I think another one would be Shelter, even though I WTF'd the Shelter so much. Like, what? And I think that's why I like it. But I'm still thinking about the short stories. Every single one is very unique. I can't say enough about this. And so those are the 2 books that I finished this week. And next week, I want to finish, I'm halfway through, I want to finish Lone Women by Victor Laval. This was my book of the month pick. And in order to get next month's pick, I have to read this, because that's like my thing for myself. And this one is kind of like set, or not kind of, it is. It's set in Montana in 1915? Yeah, 1915, with a Black protagonist. She's homesteading, but there's something dark in her past, and it kicks off like the beginning kicks off and you're like, what's going on? And then it slows, but then it picks up again about the 50-page mark. So so about 30 pages it slogs, and the rest is like, I want to know what's going to happen. It gives me like the vibes and the like darkness. It gives me Slewfoot by Brom vibes, but it's a completely different story. So far, I'll be really interested to see how I feel when I'm finished with it. I'm really excited. And then The other two that I want to read for the month, or not for the month, for the next week, a companion with this, I've heard multiple times, is How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. I have had this book on my shelf since I think it came out, or very, very close to it when it came out. I'm part of the Currently Reading Podcast Patreon, and in their Patreon, they do what is called an indie press list. And every month they have a different indie bookstore, I think it's just from around the US, pitch 5 books that they are like, I want to press this in your hand, you need to read it. And this was one of their press lists. I think it was last year, because I think this came out in 2022. This was one of their press list books. I had to pick it up. But they warned us that if you're, you know, susceptible to the headspace, your headspace, you need to be mentally okay. And I have mental illness. I have borderline personality disorder and bipolar disorder too. And so I have to be careful with my mental space. And last year I was having kind of a rough mental space patch. And so I waited and I was able to handle this. And if this is a companion book, I know myself, and if in the next video I haven't finished this, you'll know why. So there's that. That is my one book. And then my other book that I for sure want to finish, because I'm at like 2.5, since I'm reading 2 to 3 books, is The Haunting of Maddie Clare by Simone St. James. I have read 3 books by Simone St. James. I've read The Sundown Motel, The Book of Cold Cases, and I think, what is the other one called? An Inquiry into Love and Death. And I loved An Inquiry into Love and Death. I loved The Sundown Motel. I liked The Book of Cold Cases. I didn't love it. So I'm now just kind of, I want to read all of it. I want to read all of her stuff. So that is where I'm at. I think this is supposed to be old-fashioned ghost story that's historic. So I'm excited. I know nothing more about it except for it's Simone St. James. It's a ghost story. The name. So yeah, those are what I am planning on reading next week. I'm hoping to do a vlog with them, but this week just kind of got ahead of me. I picked up more shifts at my job, so I was a little busy. And so but I got books done. I'm really proud of myself for getting 2 books done where I actually read them rather than just listen to them. Not that there's anything wrong with audiobooks. I'm enjoying like holding a book physically and reading it. I'm just really enjoying that. There's nothing more. There's nothing better than sniffing a book, right? Right? Am I right? This one smells different. Kind of like my Barbie doll's hairs. Sorry, my Barbie doll hair. I don't know. If you know when it comes to Barbie doll hair. Yeah. So anyway, that is my video this week. Thank you so much for being here. I'm still figuring this out. I think I'm going to say that for like the next billion years, because I really, really don't know what I'm doing when it comes to YouTube, but I'm going to figure it out. But if you enjoy this video, you want to know what's going on in my life of being an artist / book lover, go ahead and hit like this video. Go ahead and subscribe, because I'm posting once a week. I will be posting at least once a week, and I'm going to flip-flop between book and art content. So this time it's a book. Next time it will be art. I'm thinking Friday, like tentatively thinking Fridays for books, Tuesdays for art. Don't know why. Just picked arbitrary days because they work in my schedule. So we'll find out. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Have a great day and Friday. That's if you're watching this on Friday. But if not, see ya.